on, traders? Happy Wednesday. I hope you guys all had a nice 4th of July and long weekend, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys know exactly how it went for me trading wise, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as you guys can see from the screen, it was a green day overall on my account. And in terms of how I did day trading wise, I was up $43 right on SQs and $39 on TQs. So overall on the day, I wasn't able to hit my 1% daily goal, but at least, I did come relatively close to it, right? So I was up about, 82, 83 bucks on the day, and my daily goal is $100, right? Since I am using $10,000 to trade, and I have a 1% daily goal to hit, right? But as you guys can see, my field orders, I didn't, necessarily have too many field orders today, so I was very happy with the way I traded. As you guys can see, I started trading right, near market open, right? Just a few minutes after, and I stopped trading at 9:37. So I was really trading for, about 3 hours today. So I think, I did an effective job of not staying on too long and, trying not to over trade, while I was trading. But let me go ahead and explain how I was actually able to make my money today, right? But as far as what I saw going on, the NASDAQ, right, was selling off during the pre-market session, right? But we did start to find a support right around this bottom VWAP area, right? And so as we did see it, we did finally validate it as a support and start to push up and break above the middle VWAP. And so, as you guys can see, the market open, right? We see these increase in volume bars. And what ended up happening, the market started to push up, right? And looking at it on a bigger time frame, say like the past, 10 days, right? It was clear to me why there was potential for this thing to, possibly push up if we did break above the EMA in the middle VWAP, right? Because we were using the EMA as a resistance, right? As you guys can see during the pre-market session, right? The blue line was acting as a resistance, but once market opened, we started to change direction, right? And we broke above the EMA and the middle VWAP, right? So I wanted to not overcomplicate it and go with the flow. So that's how I was able to make my money on TQQQ, right? As this thing pushed up, right, I started getting in around 35, 36, right? 6:36. And so the time is over here in case you guys are wondering, right? But right around this area, as it did push up, was consolidating and validating the EMA as a support. I started to size in, right? And I would cut the shares when, I thought this thing was starting to get rejected and struggle. And then ultimately on this last push up, right, I was able to buy back into TQs, and here is actually where I averaged up. But on this one, unfortunately, I did have to stop loss out because I told myself, this thing has lots of momentum. It's continuing to push up, but if it were to break below the EMA, right, that would probably give me a better indication that, we could be running out of momentum here, right, and direction could possibly change. So once we did gap up, right, I set a stop loss at below break above the EMA. That's what ended up happening, right? We pushed up, we pulled on back, it got triggered, right? And as you guys can see, I waited for this thing to find this solid support. So once it pushed up, pulled on back and broke above the EMA, I bought back into TQs, but unfortunately I had to take another loss on this one as well, right? As you guys can see, this thing started to sell off. And so that's why, on the day, as far as TQs wise goes, I didn't make too much money on that, morning push. I was up, $40 by the end of the day. Although I was up more, I just ended up giving back, some here. And once I saw this thing start to struggle to hold above the EMA, right? So anytime we broke below the EMA during the morning session, right, we would immediately break back above and form new highs. But I noticed that this time we broke below, and once we pushed up above the EMA, we really struggled to hold above it now, right? So we weren't struggling to hold below it now, we were struggling to hold above it. And as it pushed up, made a new low here, right? That gave me a good indication that, there could be a potential, change of direction here, and it be in my best interest to get into SQQQ. And so that's what I ended up doing, right? I got into SQs as soon as it broke this support, right? And then as soon as this thing pushed up and started to fall, I got back in. But on this, occasion, it did end up faking me out a bit. Once it did start to sell off, I bought back in, right, and sold right around this bottom area here. And so I am happy with that, how that ended up playing out, right? And, around this area, I wasn't necessarily sure if we were going to continue to sell off or find a support, right? Because on the larger time frames, as you guys can see, right, we pushed up a lot, right? Found a resistance, started to sell off, and there was potential that we could either use this, EMA as a support, right, or continue to start to sell off, right, and change direction. So I wasn't too clear on that, so that's why I decided to walk away there, right? But overall, I am happy with how I traded. I feel like I wasn't, forcing any trades, but heading into the rest of the week, right, what I'm really going to try to be doing is managing my risk in case I do have red days. And on the days, where I see there to be clear direction, I'm going to really try to take advantage of that. But that's pretty much everything I did want to share in today's recap, right? Other than that, I did want to no, I did want to mention that Tesla is trading over $280 a share now, right? So if we look at it on the larger time frame, right, we can see that this thing has absolutely been rallying, right? And so that's really nice to see, given I do have a long position on Tesla. But as it is breaking above these highs here, we definitely do need to pay attention to some areas where it could act as a resistance again. So now that we finally broke above this resistance, right, as long as it holds, right, and the momentum continues to be there, we are going to start approaching new resistance levels at around $300 a share, right, a little bit above that. You can see we have acted as a resistance, right, around 302, 303. And then if we break above that, right, we are approaching around the 312 to 315 area of resistance, right? So I am excited to follow up with Tesla and see what happens. And, I hope you guys all are as well. But that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about today. I will be posting a recap tomorrow. So I hope to see you guys then. Take care and have an amazing rest of your day.